Hey guys, how's it going? Machine Gun Hunt here. So I'm making a quick video about a certain subject that's been going on recently since the internet's been talking about it. Uh, you guys probably know about the controversy with Dave Chappelle and Netflix, how the closer made some sort of controversy with the trans community. Now, I do have my own opinions about that, but that's not the reason why I'm making this video. I am making this video because we had some protests going on, like a walkout in Netflix, and there was a certain individual that had a little scramble with some of the protesters, and that is Mr. Vito. Now, Vito is a kind of interesting character, at least in my opinion. He is not only known for making actually good quality content with like reviews and other sort of subjects with like, political and like social content, but he also was in big let's just say in a tough situation with the protesters because he has the full support of Dave Chappelle. He thinks that Dave Chappelle should tell jokes, and he thinks it's funny, and he absolutely supports the free speech that Dave Chappelle has, which I 100% agree on. If you have something to say, you speak on it. But I seem to remember something that's happened about a month ago with Vito, and it seemed to me that he wasn't treating a certain individual the same way when he was talking about something that's controversial. And what I'm talking about is Alex Jones. Again, I have my own opinions, Alex Jones. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to simply call out, in my opinion, the hypocrisy of Vito. Now, what I'm going to do is, there's a nice little video that sums up everything that you could think of. I could just simply go ahead and do a whole bunch of research trying to find some tweets that Vito deleted and, go to the Wayback Machine and spend a whole bunch of time. Or, I could just go ahead and check out, Justin in Loss's video where he does his own research and he explains everything. I'm just doing this because it's a reminder of everybody. A lot of people, including a whole bunch of media outlets, are talking to Vito as if he is a free speech absolutist. Meanwhile, historically speaking, he isn't the most consistent person out there. So I will say this, big shout out to Justin. I did talk to him on Twitter beforehand, asking him to use this as a resource. He said, yes, sure. So what I'm going to do is check out his YouTube channel. I've seen a couple of his videos. They're actually really good. Go ahead and check it out. Link in the description box down below. Shout out to Justin. He seems to be a pretty cool dude. So we're just going to go ahead and see what Justin has found out with Vito and the recent controversy, not the controversy with Dave Chappelle, but with Alex Jones as well as the Neurotic podcast. So let's go ahead and get started.
So this false flagging thing has been a problem for a very long time when it comes to this community, especially when it comes to, people like the Phantom Menace. I'm not going to say that everyone on this stream is in the Phantom Menace because I don't really know.
Yes, he's absolutely right. The Phantom Menace has not only had a controversy with, Star Wars, Lucasfilms, Kathleen Kennedy, as well as Rian Johnson, but they even had some issues with other, media posts as well. I can remember recently with The Last of Us Part 2, there was a whole bunch of copy strikes that had been given from a lot of these content creators. The biggest people I could think of is Geeks and Gamers, and I think Gundam was part of that too. But yeah, it was kind of ridiculous, and they did the copy strikes, even though they might have had justification because the game wasn't technically released yet. The leaks definitely ruined the reputation, and everything turned out to be true from the leaks. And yeah, I'm just glad those leaks didn't happen because I know a lot of fans that would not have get the game no matter what. By the way, Last of Us Part 2, not the best game, but yeah, lots of cancel culture because of other games like that.
and it seems to be a touchy subject for whatever reason nowadays, if you're in the Phantom Menace or not. But for everyone in the Phantom Menace and everyone associated with people in the Phantom Menace, it's a problem. You know, this false flagging stuff. Drunk 3PO just got his Twitter banned a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago at this point,
3PO.
for doing nothing. You know, he got copyright striked for, you know, it's obvious that people are trying to mass flag his channel, mass report his channel, and get him taken down off of Twitter, off of YouTube. They've gotten his Teespring stores taken down on multiple different websites. He's gotten clothing stores taken down.
Remember back then when we had the philosophy / like unwritten rule of not going after other content creators as sponsors and like money and stuff like that? Remember when that happened? Yeah, now back in like 2019, 2020, 2021, you have like all these controversies going on where, I don't know, you have like Keemstar and like H1H, whatever is the, you know, fat, weird, like blobby guy. That guy, Ethan Klein. There you go, Ethan Klein. Yes, I remember him. You know, they had a war and they lost their own sponsors and stuff like that. Remember when that wasn't a thing, where we respected each other's money? Remember that? Yeah, that was the golden age of YouTube. It just became so much more than a blood sport. It just became a freaking war with each other, man. So ridiculous.
For doing nothing wrong, really. They just find the littlest things that they can mass report, and if, you know, Teespring or TeePublic, whoever it is, if they see a bunch of reports going towards a certain store,
that Patreon
then they know that it's probably in their best interest to take that store down, because there's most likely something wrong with the store. But the problem is, when it comes to people in the Phantom Menace, like Drunk 3PO or Nerdrotic or any of the other people who are associated with the Phantom Menace, it's usually not anything wrong with the actual store. It's usually not anything wrong with the actual content, but it's more of the people just being annoyed or angry at the opinions that Drunk 3PO and Nerdrotic and the Quartering share. It's just that they don't...
Just remember, this is the same guy that was out protesting against the protesters in Netflix, saying that it's all right to have Dave Chappelle, like, have... Basically, you know, it's all right for Dave Chappelle to speak because he's a comedian, and we should always support someone's free speech. Now, granted, Alex Jones, you could say he's not a comedian. It really shouldn't matter, because not only Alex Jones has his own free speech, but also everyone else in the podcast has their own free speech. You know, Neurotic, let's see, I can see the Quartering. Oh, Quarter Black Garrett is there. RK Outposts. Let's see. Heel versus Babyface. Great guy, by the way. Yeah, you see all these. I think Young Ripper is there. So all these guys, they are there just to have a good time and talk to Alex Jones. I mean, despite what you say about the man, he is definitely an internet artifact. If you want to talk to Alex Jones, you need to have the opportunity to talk to him. So yeah, just remember that. A little bit of context.
Don't like their opinions, and they can't handle anyone saying anything that's not an echo chamber of what they say. They hate, if anyone disagrees with them, they want them deplatformed. That's how these people operate, and once again, it's happening. Once again, these people are getting false flagged. These people are getting mass reported and straight up canceled. Nerdrotic and the Quartering are trying, or they're trying to cancel them. They're straight up trying to cancel Nerdrotic and the Quartering, and you can see it right here. Vito, who he ended up deleting this tweet, but you know, the internet is forever. Vito, king of the snitches, obviously. The Nerdrotic's Alex Jones stream is just him screaming about how the V word, I'm not going to say it, doesn't work.
You know, I have a feeling that Vito is actually, like, more intelligent than MundaneMatt, because at least he's willing to admit something that he is not exactly proud of, but he takes full pride in it anyway. I have to respect him on that. I really do. At least he's more consistent than MundaneMatt. I know it's kind of weird to compare the two, but, you know, again, we need more context so I can make my own arguments.
While these morons laugh and clap. Funny, I could have sworn this type of content was TOS. I guess Team YouTube, he actually tagged Team YouTube trying to get them taken down, trying to get the stream taken down.
Right here.
I guess Team YouTube changed their mind. And as you can see, he ended up deleting this tweet, but Team YouTube already saw it, and they said, thanks for passing this along to us. We recommend reporting videos and channels that you think are violative so our team can look into it and take appropriate action. So not only is Vito...
Okay, so get this, right? You know when you do a tweet, when you want to mention somebody, you purposely, like, mention someone else in order to see them? You know, I do this a lot. In fact, funny thing is, there was a point in time where, you know, I was calling out Matt with some of the jargon that he was talking about a couple of months ago. The funny thing is, he actually blocked me. I guess he didn't have enough courage to actually talk a legitimate conversation or whatever. He might say that I was making fun of him, but it is kind of difficult to not make fun of him because he easily makes not the best arguments. So yeah, with Twitter, you always want a lot of people use it as a weapon. When you mention somebody, you either have a friend, a person that has certain authority, or the media. Like if you wanted to show something to Fox News, you could mention Fox News so that they could see it, or CNN, any sort of Twitter place that they could look at, and you can mention it to them and they see it. Now Vito, he goes full head on and mentions Team YouTube to go ahead and say, hey, there's something going on, and proceeds to let Team YouTube do what they do best, get rid of Alex Jones on YouTube. You gotta be really careful if you're using Alex Jones on YouTube, for example. I think Tim Pool had some recent controversies with Alex Jones. I don't know. I haven't seen much of Tim Pool recently. But yeah, you always gotta be careful with Alex Jones on YouTube. Let's just put it at that.
Vito saying that this is against TOS, and he tags Team YouTube trying to get their team or their stream taken down. But also, Team YouTube responds to this and says that they should be reported as well. So Vito, and obviously this is an automated response. I'm not going to blame this on YouTube, but Vito tags Team YouTube, telling everyone, hey, this is against TOS. You should go report this. I mean, he didn't say that directly, but if you're saying something is against TOS, you're kind of saying that it should be reported and taken down. So he's already telling all of his followers that they should go report this, that this stream should be taken down. And then he tags Team YouTube to tell them that this is against TOS, that they should be taken down. And then Team YouTube responds to it, telling everyone who is seeing the tweet and seeing the responses. The ratio is pretty bad, by the way.
So, yeah, that's basically what happened. Now, I am wondering, where on earth have I seen that before, huh? I wonder where I've seen that before. A content creator seeing a podcast of some sort where he gets offended, and then he actually ends up, wanting someone to get false flagged or taken down or whatever. Yeah, I wonder where we've seen that before. You know what I mean? I haven't seen anything like that before. I haven't seen anything like this. Look at all of this garbage, You have all these people talking about a particular individual of some sorts. Yeah, I haven't seen much of a comparison with this, in my opinion. In fact, I think there's a couple of people here who've been on not only the kill stream, but also on this stream as well. So, coincidence? Who knows? But, yeah, Vito definitely has... He definitely has a lot more courage.
You can see right there.
He definitely has a lot more courage than MundaneMatt. With compared to each other, it looks like Vito is doing the same thing that Matt is doing, but he's actually more upfront and more flamboyant, and I guess you could say he's more courageous about it. Which, I mean, kudos to you, Vito, but you're probably just as bad as Matt. Just saying, just almost as bad. Just not as cowardly.
There are 77 replies and only 26 likes, but they're telling everyone that thinks that this is against TOS, which Vito just told them that it's against TOS. So obviously a lot of his followers are going to think it's 100% against TOS because they're going to believe anything that he says. Team YouTube is telling them to go report this channel, to go report this stream and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, Team YouTube's like, yeah, do what MundaneMatt did, man. MundaneMatt, he was so glorious. He was our greatest ally against these hooligans that are in YouTube, Oh, man. Gosh, man, we're living in a weird place today. We not only have YouTube with their weird automatic systems where they do random crap that kind of ruin people's reputations and YouTube channels and livelihoods, but you have people like MundaneMatt and yes, even Vito wanting to destroy people's reputations and their livelihoods. Dude, it's Alex Jones. You're free to be offended by Alex Jones, and sure, you might even say you disagree with a lot of the stuff that he has done. I know I do. But at the same time, you shouldn't be so triggered about it and go straight to YouTube and say, hey, you should take down because Alex Jones is Alex Jones. No. like, if I don't know, if they're showing like a video of like some guy, in charge of a big government platform killing puppies or whatever, then yeah, you should definitely like, block that because you literally see a video killing puppies. You should never do that. But if they're just having fun, doing memes, being edgy, then it should not be a problem. You should know this, Vito, because you are defending Dave Chappelle. Just saying.
So they're gonna get false flagged, massively false flagged, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get
They
one
get
of their
canceled.
channels taken down. Nerdrotic are the quartering of the main two that are being targeted, but also Geeks and Gamers, and obviously as from Heel versus Babyface, and all these other channels as well, RK Outpost, but even channels who aren't even in the stream are being targeted. Drunk 3PL is being targeted. World Class BSers are being targeted. That Umbrella guy is being targeted. All these guys are being targeted. Yellow Flash. And they're not even on the stream, simply because they're related to these guys, simply because they're associated with
hang on. Hang on. I caught something. Go up. Okay, right there. You saw that, right? You saw that. It was like right here. Okay, so this is the same Reddit post as the Dick Show, right? So, coincidence, we have a post talking about Vito in the Dick Masterson show, where it's talking about the cancellation that Vito wants to have with the Neurotic show. You have Dave Chappelle's, Netflix protests going on in the Netflix headquarters. Then you have Vito, who's protesting against the protesters. Little did you know that Dick Masterson was right next to him in the first place. I mean, I'm not trying to, cry out against Dick, but the problem with that is he knows the situation with Alex Jones. Like, he knows a lot of stuff that's happening with the internet. So he keeps an eye on Alex Jones. He probably knows about the Vito thing. Yet they have a mutual understanding of going to the protest saying that comedy is funny. Despite Vito saying otherwise with the Neurotic, podcast. I just find this really funny. Like, I see lots of inconsistencies with a lot of these things. But, I don't know. I have a feeling that there might be a little bit of a redemption story with Vito. It seems to me that he is talking about how all these, leftists, or, not even leftists, just liberal, platforms just don't want to talk to Vito because despite actually trying to cancel a lot of the Phantom Menace, he definitely has some affiliations with the Phantom Menace. I mean, for crying out loud, he is most popular because of his reviews with the Star Wars sequels. So, despite having certain different opinions and us having to be individuals, we always land on the same blanket because it's always the best thing or the easiest thing to do. Like, if you're part of this group, then you like this, and this, or if you are part of this group, then you're part of this, and this. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Like, all these guys, I have different opinions with every single one of them, but we could at least all understand one thing, that the sequels are not as good as the prequels or even the originals. So despite your opinions, that just seems the overall seem to be the case. So I don't know what point I was getting at, but it seems to me that we're sacrificing some of our morals and expectations of other people, and we are joining together because of one or two opinions that we all share. That's basically what seems to be happening, not only because with Neurotic, but it also seems to be with Dick Masterson and Vito. So
flagged, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get one of their channels taken down. Nerdrotic are the quartering of the main two that are being targeted, but also Geeks and Gamers, and obviously as from Heel versus Babyface, and all these other channels as well, RK Outpost, but even channels who aren't even in the stream are being targeted. Drunk 3PL is being targeted. World Class BSers are being targeted.
Guys.
That Umbrella guy is being targeted.
I think I know what it is.
UPS. Keep the dog. Come here. Come here. Go ahead. Come here. Because I didn't see that.
It's a big box.
Why did I not see that this morning? It must have come later.
It did come later. Anyway, video is live right now, so.
This package was not on the truck when I went there this morning.
Well, I guess they switched it up. Sorry, guys. My PS5 arrived, so maybe make a video about that. This is staying in the video. Anyway.
What a nice day outside.
It's a very nice day. It's raining outside. The poor UPS guy was holding my PS5. He probably wants a PS5 because he doesn't have one, but. Huh? Yeah, I did. It's an exciting day, guys. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue.
Yellow Flash, and they're not even on the stream, simply because they're related to these guys, simply because they're associated with these guys. In these people's minds, in these people who can't stand their opinions being refuted, they cannot stand the fact that these guys have a different opinion than they do, so they're going to try to take their channels down. But let's look at some of these replies real quick, and then we'll move on to some other tweets about them trying to mass report and mass false flag these guys' channels. Vito is the absolute picture of masculinity and peak performance. I'm sure his beliefs about health and responsibility extend past the words and into a personal life where he's certainly not a giant land whale. That's actually...
To be fair, Vito is at least more consistent than MundaneMatt. He's definitely more masculine than MundaneMatt. So, I don't know. Me and Vito are like similar builds, so, you know, I'm actually trying to exercise a little bit more, but, you know, I at least agree with half of it. There's definitely a good point to it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. There's no vaccine for being obese. You know, you gotta.
Oh,
you gotta
no.
Something everybody realizes that this was a stupid tweet, and it's simply he's angry because they have someone on their stream, and also they have a lot of people on their stream that disagree with.
Yeah, that was actually kind of interesting. Like, was he offended that Alex Jones is just simply in the internet, or is he simply offended because of what Alex Jones is saying in the live stream? I mean, if you're gonna be against Alex Jones, you might as well just be against him, not the people who are talking to Alex Jones in the first place, you know? And that's the thing about media as well as podcasts. When people say something, the people who are giving them a platform are not affiliated what the person is saying. You know, if Alex Jones says, I don't know, killing puppies is good, you know? None of the people in a neurotic podcast is not affiliated with Alex Jones when he says that. Obviously, all those guys would say they hate killing puppies. But if Alex Jones says it, for some odd reason, people like to say, oh, since Neurotic is giving Alex Jones a platform, then they must all hate puppies. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is honestly ridiculous. And I don't understand why we have the actions of Vito literally a month ago compared to right now with Dave Chappelle. I mean, Vito's getting a lot of traction with all of this. Like, he is getting platforms, getting interviews from not only a whole bunch of news media sources, but literally InfoWars. InfoWars, the people that are owned by Alex Jones are literally giving this man airtime in their shows, and Vito literally wanted to cancel Alex Jones a month ago. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Candace Owens. Candace Owens, before she became, you know, the conservative darling of the day, she actually made a website that could be abused to cancel people. This website was so dangerous, even the feminists didn't want it to happen. So they basically got rid of the website, and she got really angry at that, so she doesn't like the left anymore. It's very interesting how people can flip-flop just like that because they were portrayed by a certain side that they had in the first place. And I think this is the same thing that's happening with Vito. That's why, when I say this, when you see people have a change of mind very quickly, either they got assaulted very vividly and they do not like that at all. Yeah, be saved by Jesus. There you go. Be saved by Jesus. Yeah, either that or they got saved by Jesus. You know, a commentary from my father there. But I don't know. You should always be careful when somebody has a quick change of mind just like that. Perfect example in the Bible. Saint Paul. He used to be Saul. He persecuted Christians, but then once God like blindsided him and got healed, he became a disciple of Christ, and he is the biggest apologetics guy for Jesus. A lot of people at first were very concerned with Paul because he used to persecute and kill Christians. Now he is the biggest advocate for Christians. So hopefully this is the same thing with Vito. Just being against SJWs in the first place, but always have a little bit of skepticism with me, you know? You always gotta be careful of these guys, man.
With his opinions, and if you disagree with him, you should be deplatformed. Apparently, disagreeing with him is against TOS, and he even tags YouTube, trying to get them deplatformed. Let's move on to some other tweets. As I said, he's not
To be fair, TOS changes a whole bunch, so it really doesn't matter what you do. Eventually, you'll break TOS because something you said like 3 years ago.
the only one that's doing it. I apologize. Oh, this is the wrong one. Hold on.
Yep.
On tonight's exciting episode of Angry Delusional White Men, tweets out Rich from Review Tech USA, who obviously really hates the quarter.
Another interesting character. I'm not sure if I should make a video about him, but, you know. Let's just say he's had some bad things happen to him, you know. Self-inflicted, maybe, but, you know, I definitely have lots of sympathy with Review Tech USA the same way as I do with Boogie. Ugh, another guy. All these guys, man. I have respect for some of these guys, but at the same time, like, what are you doing, you know?
He's been going after the quartering for a long time now. I don't know if he actually hates the guy. I don't know if it's simply to get views. I don't know what the reasoning is, but he's been going after the quartering for a long time.
And wants to cancel him,
he's
too.
Not a, objective opinion on this situation. He's not the voice of reason. He's very much biased against the quartering and against everyone else on this stream. Judging from the butthurt in this post, you seem to be describing yourself. Yeah, I mean, he kind of is a very angry white man. He goes after the quartering a lot. He's very angry at the quartering a lot. I thought Alex Jones was banned from YouTube, so obviously, you know, a lot of people in these replies are his fans, are his followers, so you're going to be agreeing with him a lot, but honestly, surprisingly,
are good.
a lot of them are disagreeing with him, and
There you go.
know, calling him a clown, as you can see right here. Pot the kettle, come in kettle, clown emojis, and one is quarter black. That's actually pretty funny. Quarter black Garrett. Yeah, man, you can't call them all white, delusional white men when there's a quarter black guy right here. That's pretty messed up, man. Your racism is showing. You got to fix that. But also, he tweeted this out after.
I mean, come on.
If I angered
The man is ripping his shirt apart and he's running away. Like, do you really need to take this guy seriously?
anyone with this post about the quartering and Alex Jones, as an olive branch, I will be having a shirtless wrestling match with Alex, and we will both be drenched in olive oil.
I would pay money for that.
He's trying to kind of, you know, take the attention off that other tweet, make it a little funny situation. But you're going to get the backlash, man. You're going to get backlash whenever you try to deplatform people for simply having different opinions, and you deserve it. You deserve that backlash. That is.
Dude, Justin is absolutely right here. I get offended with certain things people say. The thing is, do I go out of my way and try to cancel them because of it? You know? And that's really the most important thing out of all of this. Let him speak. Once you listen to what he has to say, can you make an opinion and say, I agree or I disagree? Once you make your conclusion, you go on with your life, and you have the right to be offended or not offended. It's that simple. And it seems to me that a lot of people, especially on Twitter and maybe even YouTube, it's so simple, but for some reason, a lot of people don't understand this. And it can be quite frustrating sometimes because it can be as simple as that, but some people just simply don't think about free speech and how important it is. And because of situations like Dave Chappelle making a comedy sketch about all of this, and, you know, you could be very offended with what Dave Chappelle has said, you know, especially if you're trans, and that seems to be the big subject here. However, it seems the reason why Dave Chappelle is talking about this is for comedic reasons. I don't personally don't see like any hatred coming from Dave Chappelle doing this special. I've watched the special. Like it's pretty funny. He makes fun of everyone. He makes fun of Catholics. He makes fun of white people. He makes fun of black people. He makes fun of Asians. You know, so I can have an opinion that even I can get in trouble, but a lot of times with these groups, some people are more sensitive than others, and you can obviously see who's more offended simply by the protests that's been going on, and that's definitely been the case with Dave Chappelle.
That is exactly what, this channel and a lot of other channels are geared towards stopping. We're trying to stop this cancel culture BS. We're trying to stop this nonsense that people like Rich from Review Tech USA are trying to spew out with this, they should be deplatformed.
And yes, Vito MundaneMatt is responsible for this as well.
And Rich isn't really saying that they should be deplatformed, but you already know what's going to happen whenever he tweets out something like this. Whenever he tweets out something saying something like this on tonight's exciting episode of Angry Delusional White Men, and then he's saying how bad the stream is, saying that Alex Jones shouldn't be on YouTube and stuff like that, you already know what's going to happen. He's not directly saying you should go false flag this channel, because that would probably get him banned off of something or get him in some sort of trouble. But obviously he's trying to say that this shouldn't be happening. So all of his fans are going to go out and false flag, and he knows that. I mean, I guess it's kind of out of his control, but he's playing into it, And then Vito is just straight up saying that they should be taken down. He's straight up saying that they should be canceled, false flag, deplatformed. And he even gets Team YouTube involved, who also agree with him, because it's an automated response where they're counting on the honor system, where people will only tag them in something that should actually be taken down, something that's actually against TOS, which I don't know if having Alex Jones on is against TOS, because I know he is banned from YouTube, so I don't know if that's actually against TOS or not.
What's fascinating is that Vito says he likes free speech, but at the same time, he uses his own speech so he can make other people try to false flag Neurotic, the Quartering, and the rest of the people there. It seems quite fascinating to me. The free speech that Alex Jones has is obviously not good, but I'm using my own free speech to go ahead and shut people down. I'm not doing it personally, but other people are doing it on my behalf, but I have nothing to do with it. You kind of see the slippery slope that's been going on, and because of these situations like that, it kind of shows Alex Jones, despite how much controversies he's been through, in a more lighthearted manner. Like, Alex Jones in this story is not the bad guy here. He may have been in the past, but he's not the bad guy here right now. Vito is the one that's causing controversy back then right now. Right now, Vito is not the villain in the story with Dave Chappelle's protest. It is, the Netflix employees and those who seem to be easily offended with Dave Chappelle's show. They look bad in this entire situation, and Vito looks good in this situation. It's literally the exact same thing. You can say, oh, but there's different things and all that, and Alex Jones obviously says a lot more meaner / offensive things. That's merely your opinion. I can have the opinion saying that Vito has really damaging opinions and might have caused some suffering at least with people's income. I can make the same approach as he is doing with Alex Jones with himself right now. And that is merely our opinions. You could agree with me or not, but that is the thing about speech. We have our own opinions, and we could disagree with them. But once you start doing some things that goes against people's opinions, then we're going to have a couple of problems. So, yeah.
Maybe it is. But either way, I don't really care. If someone else had Alex Jones on their channel, I don't care. Why would you care? Or someone with different political views and they're banned from YouTube, why would I try to get them taken down? I don't care that much. It's honestly just childish, and it plays into that cancel culture stuff. It plays into that consequence culture stuff. I guess there's consequences to having a certain person with certain opinions on your stream. It doesn't make any sense. The whole group, the whole movement, the whole way of thinking, the NPC way of thinking is just so stupid. It's so frustrating, but I have to keep calling it out over and over again. Vito and Rich from Review Tech USA, and also a lot of other people, a lot of other people in their replies are saying, let's go false flag them, let's go mass report them and stuff like that. And we've seen the results of that over and over again. It's not just Drunk 3PO that feels the wrath of that. It's a lot of other people feel the wrath of that. I haven't gotten it myself yet.
Freaking Leafy, man. Where is he right now? Because he got canceled because he offended Ethan Klein? I mean, come on, All these people get easily offended. They just want to get rid of people's livelihoods.
I mean, I get my videos ratioed all the time, but I don't really care. You know, I don't know if these people know, but dislikes have the same effect that likes do. It's just engagement for your YouTube channel. So the dislikes don't really bother me. What really bothers me is when other people get their, merch stores taken down or...
Little reminder, guys, since dislikes don't really matter, make sure you go ahead and dislike this video. We wanted to make sure we have as much traction as possible just to understand that what I'm saying is offensive and I need to be canceled for it. So make sure, in order to cancel me, you press that dislike button. I would really appreciate to see what wrong opinions I have, and you guys can go on ahead and try to dislike me as much as possible. I will take note, and I will try to make a better course of action with this channel. Probably not.
Get their Twitter accounts banned like Jung3PO did for no reason, for absolutely no reason. And it's because of people like this and people like Vito. But let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. What do you think about the quartering and Nerdrotic kind of being canceled, kind of being, they're attempting to deplatform them simply for having Alex Jones on a live stream? Let me know what you think about the whole situation. If you did enjoy this video, though, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter.
All right, the spiel, all that stuff. Go ahead and check out Justin. He had some excellent content here. He only has 11,000 subscribers. You need to check him out. He actually has some great content here. And yeah. In conclusion, MundaneMatt sucks. I feel pity for Review Tech USA. Boogie needs help. And Vito definitely has lots of contradictions going on within the past couple of months. So, in conclusion, always keep an eye on people with a recent change of heart, and most importantly, keep them accountable of what they have done in the past, because I see a lot of hypocrisy that's going on with Vito. So, if something like this happens again later on, maybe within the next couple of months, then make sure you remember this video and understand you gotta be careful to those who are lukewarm, for they cause the most damage. So yeah, that is it, everyone. That's my 2 cents. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go ahead and dislike this video. Comment on why you disagree with everything here. And if you agree with me, you could comment on that too, but I prefer you not to. Just being straight up honest with you guys. Subscribe. You could do that. Or if you're subscribed to me, you could unsubscribe as well as subscribe to me again. And then share this video to show how much hatred that's inside my heart. But anyway, guys, also, Surfs, like this man right here, much better content creator than Surfs, in my opinion. Yeah, be excellent to each other, everyone. You have the right to be offended or not to be offended. Sometimes jokes are just funny. Vito says that, but what about back then during a month? Yeah, see you next time. I'm going to open up my PS5 now. God bless. Goodbye.